ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, learners, listeners, readers, speakers, writers, the most honorable present President Modi ji, respected doctors and directors, adorable lady, welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section. We are conversing, discussing our holy land, spiritual land, India, where it's situated, Sirsa. It is a district of Haryana. Geographically, demographically, economically, socially, politically, spiritually, in all the fields, it has its own place because of creators, generators, operators, starters, beginners, initiators in the different fields of economy, politics, in every sector, it has a great identity in the form of unity diversity. Our all freedom fighters, free thinkers, those who came in India, they address in our holy books that here came spiritual fathers, spiritual generators, operators, and builders. Let us know what is happening around us, what changes we see. Supreme Court moved interim stay on certain work and provisions. The bench, led by the CBI, remarked that some of the Act's provisions can have grave ramifications and hence it will consider passing interim order. The Supreme Court on Wednesday voted an interim stay on certain key provisions of the recently passed Law of Amendment Act 2025, including inclusion of non-Muslims in the Central Work Council and Work Boards, powers of collectors in deciding disputes over local properties and provisions on denotifying properties declared as welcome by courts. We take argument for witness before a bench led by Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, on the very first day of arguments in Court No. 1. At one point in time, the CBI asked Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, will you include Muslims in Hindu endowment boards? Raising serious concern and proposing interim stay of 5 points, the CJ's bench comprising the CBI and Justice P.V. Sanjeev Kumar and K.V. Viswanathan did not bar grave ramification and hence it will consider passing an interim order. Regarding ex parte stay with court house investigation, we are all concerned about it when a law is passed. Courts do not pass an order at the admission stage, but in this stage we think that if there is workout by user, workout property allotted to an individual user regarding which there are no proper documents in existence and wherein religious practices are being observed for a long time and it is done denotifying that there are grave ramifications said of courts. Therefore, the bench said that it will consider passing the following interim order. Our interim order will balance equities, will say whichever properties were declared by court to be work-off will not be denotified or treated as a non-work-off whether it is work-off by user or not. Collector can continue with proceedings, but the provision will not be given effect regarding work-off boards and work-off council as official members can be applied with, but the other members have to be Muslims. The judge also asked the central government whether it would allow inclusion of non-inclusive bodies, government tables, as has been done in the present law with regard to work-off. Mr. Mehta argued, saying that from now on you will allow Muslims to be part of the Hindu endowment courts sealed openly. The court asked the Solicitor General, I can put it on an affidavit, the SC does show. SC Mehta said that he can state on affidavit that not more than two members will be non-Muslims. The court further highlighted that only 8 out of 22 members of the council will be Muslims under the Amendment Act. This led to an exchange of words between the bench and the SG. So, as per the Act, 8 members are Muslims, 2 judges non-Muslims, then the rest are non-Muslims, the bench said. Then this bench also cannot hear against the SG remark with reference to the Hindu identity of the 3 judges on the bench. This drew a sharp response from the bench. What, when we sit over here, we lose our religion. For us, both sides are the same. How can we compare it with the judges? Why not have non-Hindus also on the advisory board of Hindu endowments? Then the CDI showed that I am ready to make a statement before the court that maximum 2 apart from the 2 ex-officio members between non-Muslims. The bench persisted. CDI cannot observe that the government cannot rewrite history through changes brought in by amendments to work of law. We are referring to the scope under the new Act to denotify properties declared as work of law alone. In their case, congressmen hold protest across India from New Delhi. Police personnel tried to stop Congress supporters protesting against the PD after the agency filed a charge sheet against Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, and others in the National Herald case in Dehradun. Justice Riya Gawai recommended as next CGI from New Delhi. Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna on Wednesday responded to the government. The name of Justice Bhushan Ramakrishna Gavai as the next CBI. Justice Gavai, the second senior most Supreme Court judge after CBI Khanna is set to become the 52nd CBI only 14 after the retirement of CBI Khanna on May 13. Justice Gavai, who was elevated as judge of the Supreme Court on May 24, 2019, will have a tenure of over 6 months at CBI. He is due to retire on November 23, 25. CBI Khanna, who was sworn in as the 51st CBI on November 11 last year, responded to the Union Law Ministry to appoint Justice Gavai as his successor. The retirement age of Supreme Court judges is 65 years. According to the memorandum of procedure, a set of documents regarding appointment, elevation, and transfer of High Court and Supreme Court judges, the law minister writes to the CBI to name his or her successor. The MOP says the senior-most judge of the apex court is considered fit to hold the office of the CBI, and the view of the outgoing head of the higher judiciary in India have to be sought at an appropriate time, born on November 24, 1960 in Amravati, Maharashtra. Justice Gavai was elevated as an additional judge of the Bombay High Court on November 14, 2000. He became a permanent judge of the High Court on November 12, 2005. China now issues up to 245% retaliatory tariff to White House, Washington. In a social media post, President Donald Trump vowed to protect the United States of America and his far-reaching trade war British adversary nations such as China. China now wishes tariffs up to 245% on imports to the United States due to the retaliatory actions the White House has said. As the trade war escalated between the world's two largest economies, separately in a post on Truth Social, President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that China just reneged on the big wine deal, adding that they will not take possession of the committed aircraft. We appear to be confirming reports that China has asked its airlines not to take delivery of planes from American aircraft manufacturer Boeing. In the post, he also vowed to protect the US and its allies in a trade war with its adversaries such as China. In a fact sheet issued on Tuesday, the White House said President Trump signed an executive order launching an investigation into the national security risk posed by US reliance on imported processed critical minerals and their derivative products. On day one, President Trump, President Trump initiated his America First trade policy to make America's economy great again, it said. More than 75 countries have already reached out to discuss new trade deals as they individualize. Higher tariffs are currently paused amid these discussions except for China, which retaliated its share. China now faces up to 245% tariff on import to the United States as a result on Friday raised its additional tariff on imports from the US to 125%, in retaliation to the Trump administration's 145% levies on Chinese export. China also filed a lawsuit with the WTO following the US tariff hikes. China earlier retaliated with 84% levy and imposed restrictions on imports of some US films, expressing its interest in holding dialogue with Washington to resolve the issue. The fact sheet accused China of banning exports to the US of gallium, germanium, antimony, and other key high-tech materials with potential military application. Just this week, China suspended exports of six heavy earth metals and as did earth magnets in order to chop off supplies of components central to automakers, aerospace manufacturers, semiconductor companies, and military contractors around the world began. According to the fact sheet, processed critical minerals and their derivative products are key building blocks of America's defense industrial base and integral to applications such as jet engines, missile guidance system, advanced computing, radar systems, advanced optics, and secure communication equipment. The United States remains heavily dependent on foreign sources, particularly adversarial nation for these essential materials, exposing the economy and defense sector to supply chain disruption and economic collision. It added, Trump has imposed additional duties on other nations for 90 days. On Wednesday, China appointed Li Shengeng, who has decade job experience handling international negotiations and also served as China's ambassador to the World Trade Organization as international trade representative at the Ministry of Commerce. The world, the move came after President Trump said the world was in the beating spot to work out the deal to end the tariff deadlock. Meanwhile, the Bangkok report said that Chinese leader Xi Jinping has promised Malaysia and Vietnam greater access to Chinese markets as we tour Southeast Asia this week. China welcomes more high-quality agricultural products from Malaysia to enter the Chinese market and encourages China companies to invest and start business in Malaysia. Jinping shared in his meeting with Malaysia King Sultan Ibrahim Iskandar on Wednesday, according to the official news. He also mentioned further developing cooperation in green tech and artificial intelligence. They overrode India's longest tunnel of nuclear possibilities. Expansion tunnel not for 3,400 crore projects in Delhi. A proposal to construct prison in Narita, set up charging stations for electric buses and PTC for ISCT and cluster bus depots in Dwarka were also paid by Expanded Finance Committee. The Delhi government's Expanded Finance Committee on Wednesday approved projects worth 3,400 crore rupees, which include construction of 27 decentralized sewage treatment plants. Additionally, the Delhi government has also approved a proposal regarding construction of a prison in Narita and setting up charging station for electric buses at DTC for ISBT and plus 2 buses for Sundwarka. Rail or road, India's longest tunnel of limitless possibilities. Major breakthrough in increasing the rate and road connectivity of Char Dham in Uttarakhand to the rest of India through the Himalayan terrain has been achieved with a breakthrough in the Shikara Band Barcode Road Tunnel section with the completion of excavation from all sides as many as 41 workers were trapped for over 2 weeks in the under construction tunnel in 2023. Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav along with Uttarakhand Chief Minister transformative power of the unwavering devotion. Bhagavad Gita has paved the path of life with undying hope. It has been assured in this treatise of spiritual philosophy that no one needs to despair on account of his past misdeeds. The wrongdoers are now condemned to perpetual doom. Everyone is entitled to make a fresh start. With the change of heart, even a sinner can become a saint. In slokas of 9.29 to 9.31, Shri Krishna has described the transformative power of exclusive devotion and right determination. In his dialogue with Arjuna, he stated as under: I am present equally in all living beings. I am neither friend nor foe to anyone, but those who worship me and with devotion they reside in me and I reside in them. Even if the most sinful person worships me with single-minded devotion, he should be considered righteous, for he has resolved to follow the path of righteousness. Sloka 9.30. And such a person becomes virtuous within a short period and thus obtain everlasting peace. Know it for certain, O Arjuna, that no devotee of mine ever perishes. Sloka 9.31. At first glance, these worships seem to be incongruous to each other because, on the one hand, the divine is declared to be impartial for everyone, and on the other, it is stated that even the sinner of sinners can become virtuous by worshipping him with devotion. These slokas, these slokas thus seem to be contradictory to one another, but in reality it is not so. Upon closer examination, these slokas are found to be actually complementary and supplementary to each other. A combined reading and harmonious interpretation of these three slokas suggests that God is the same in all beings. No one is dear to him and he hates no one. In other words, God does not favor or disfavor anyone. When one obtains such an understanding, the devotee becomes one in the divine. As he becomes one with the Lord, he derives divine virtues from him. Qualities like unselfish love, compassion, and truthfulness truthfulness come to him naturally. Soon these qualities become established in him in spite of the fact that he had a troubled past and had earlier indulged in wicked deeds. When one worships God with love and devotion, he develops an abiding faith in him. With such trust and belief, he opens his heart before him. He accepts all his mistakes and seeks forgiveness for the acts of his past omission and commission. He makes a firm resolve that he shall not commit such evil deeds again in the process. His heart becomes pure and his actions become noble. Forgetting his past, such a person should be considered saintly because he has acquired saintly virtues. When one acquires such values, he is freed from the fear of adverse results or pangs of guilt. Of his past deeds, his past does not torment him day and night. He is at peace with himself and the world at large. In other words, he attained everlasting peace. The above sloka should not be interpreted to mean that there is an easy escape from the consequence of one past deeds or present action. No one can override the doctrine of cause and effect. No cause can be prevented from no cause can be prevented from providing its effects. One has to face the consequences of his actions, but a true devotee escapes miserably as he has full faith in the impartiality of God and hence gladly accepts even the unpleasant results of his past deeds. These verses have further stated that a reformed sinner becomes a virtuous man. Without any delay, it only suggests that the alone doer turns to God with a pure heart. He repents for his past mistakes and makes a firm resolve to do good in future. The good deeds done as per the new resolve introduce a new cause in the endless chain of causes and effects. Such virtuous deeds and their rewards overshadow the past misdeeds and their punishment. Such a person is to be considered virtuous in spite of his not so moral past. Sri Krishna has assured that sincere devotees of the divine never perish. The genuine devotee places himself into the protective hands of the divine. The divine guide him all the time. Having acquired the saintly stage, he does not come to deviate after experiencing the bliss of the everlasting peace. He does not let himself fall into the darkness of rising. In other words, he never perishes. It needs to be reiterated here that the above slokas should never be understood to mean that the sin of anyone can be washed away by mercy. Yet no one deliberately indulged in evil in the belief that the consequences of his misdeeds can be done away with by devotion. To conclude, one should never lose hope due to one's troubled past. True devotion to the divine and a firm determination to treat the path of righteousness can transform a sinner into a saint. But such transformation is not on account of any arbitrary divine interference in the laws of nature, but by the reformation of one's behavior. Shooter Suruchi Singh bags gold Manu silver in ISSF World. India faced competition in bid to host 30 CWC. PSG reached Champions League semi-finals. Maradona's Robert Helmont testified negligence. Trial Didura Pelomero wins 82. Yoshi's hat-trick helps Ulysses's hat-trick helps Borussia Dortmund win. Golfer Shitty's set scores record batsman should lead. MI pins hopes on Bumrah form. Axel Patel explosive bomb takes BC to 188.5 against Tara. Bat size set does not make any difference over Tony. Dash Dust of India from Mumbai. For Mona City to watch cricket during Allied 2028 Olympics. Argued with head coach selector Rohit on dropping himself. Rest of India, New Delhi. Rohit pointed out that he had to drop himself as there were multiple players who were out of form at the same time, including star batter Virat Kohli. Kolkata Knight Riders batters led K. Rehan after toss to Punjab Kings. Rest of India from Multan. Indian women's team set to get new physio trainer. That's Trust of India, New Delhi. The Indian women's team is all set to get a new physiotherapist as well as strength and conditioning coach. Both of whom will be based out of the Center of Excellence in Bengaluru for the next 2 years. The Board of Control for Cricket in India has invited applications for all positions which falls under the purview of the Sports Science and Medicine, which is also expected to get a new boss with the departure of Nitin Patel, the physio and trainer SMC coach involved at the Center of Excellence as well as travel with the Indian University on domestic and international assignments. The physio's post is being vacated by Akanksha Satyavanshi and SMC coach for women was Anand Dev. Both are moving on from their respective positions. Immediate requirement for both positions with certification course in advanced life support for physio, basic life support for trainers, along with a degree in trauma management. The certification course needs to be completed in the last 2 years for the interested candidates. A physio with 10 years of experience will be given preference. These positions are integral in the sports science and medicine team, providing high performance support services to enhance player performance and implement effective injury management and prevention protocols. BCCI Secretary Devjit Saikia was quoted as saying in a press release, the successful candidate involved in the multidisciplinary environment, particularly to the overall development of women's cricket in India. Punjab ranks 9th in India Justice Report 2025 against filing vacancies overcrowded jails. Monica Malik from Chandigarh described increasing strike in polishing and legal aid. The latest India Justice Report ICR nature of our justice system in Punjab that continues to grapple with fundamental structure deficiencies, especially in the judiciary and criminal administration, like among 18 large and mid-sized states. Punjab showed selective progress while simultaneously citing that was in some of the most critical areas where impact access to justice. The ICR 2025 is the outcome of a rigorous 24-month-long quantitative research exercise that evaluated the justice delivery system across India's states, including Punjab, based on data primarily from 2022 to 24. It draws upon the latest official statistics from credible government sources such as the National Judicial Database Bureau of Police Research and Development, National Crime Records Bureau, and National Legal Services Authority, covering 18 large and mid-sized states with populations over 1 crore. The report assesses 40 pillars: police, judiciary, prisons, and legal act against indicators like budget allocation, human resources, diversity, infrastructure, and workload, punishing high spending, better deployment, but accountability missing. The police force have seen marked improvements rising from 30th to 7th place nationally. The state now boasts the highest per capita expenditure on police among all large states at rupees 2,604 and maintains the best civic police to population ratio, that is 1:504, compared to the national average of 1:831. Additionally, every police station in the state now has a women help desk, and the citizen service portal has improved in functionality and accessibility. However, these numbers mask deeper unaddressed issues. The report remains silent on response time, case disposal rates, and most critically, police accountability. Despite high funding, there is no assessment of how effectively the force address custodial violence, public grievances, or regional disciplinary action, with police often being the first point of contact for justice seekers. The lack of transparency in outcome undermines public trust, said the report. Legal aid is silver lining. If there is one arena where Punjab deserves the genuine part, where Punjab deserves the genuine impact on the back, it's in legal aid. The state has impressively jumped from 9th to 2nd place, driven by high utilization of NELSA funds and increasing gender diversity. Women now make up 24% of panel lawyers, 29% of paralegal volunteers, and 64% of district legal services authority secretaries. The report states that this gender inclusive shift is not just symbolic, it could play a critical role in improving access to justice for women and marginalized groups. However, it added the state still must guard against tokenism, merely appointing women without ensuring their operational autonomy or Counsellor support may dilute long-term impacts it had. Judiciary crisis of vacancies and infrastructure. The judiciary in Punjab, particularly at a high court level, is facing an alarming vacancy crisis. Judge vacancies have surged from 2% in 2022 and 40% in 2025, while high court staff vacancies climbed to 35%. What's worse, 67% of cases in Punjab and Haryana High Court are pending for over 3 years, leading to inordinate delays can deny justice. At the basic level, infrastructure is also deteriorating. Power shortages have increased from 50 to 24%. The growing backlog and inadequate space compromised working conditions of judicial officers and delayed proceedings, especially for under trial and civil litigants on opposite of the representations of women. In the judiciary has improved significantly with 52% of district judges and 25% of high court judges now being women, but such symbolic wins will remain hollow unless matched with systematic reforms to clear case backlogs and appoint sufficient judges ready. Prisons overcrowded and understaffed. Punjab's prison system appears to be in respiratory motion for 6 years. The state had managed to keep overcrowding in check, but that trend has reversed as of 2025. The state's jails are operating at 160% capacity, with 23% of prisons floating occupancy rates between 150 to 250%. Alarmingly, Punjab spends only rupees 17,821 per prisoners annually, the second lowest in the country, next only to Maharashtra, the most glaring concern in the complete absence of correctional staff. These personnel are crucial for inmate rehabilitation, counseling, and reintegration. In their absence, prisons remain punitive spaces rather than reformative ones. Although medical and cadre staff vacancies have shown slight improvement, the systematic neglect of rehabilitative services makes redivision more likely and reformation a distant dream. Systematic recommendation is ignored. The ICR 2025 reiterated its long-standing call for recognizing justice delivery as an essential service, emphasizing the need to fill vacancies urgently and enhance diversity across all pillars. Yet Punjab's mixed reports suggested that while quantitative inputs like spending and recruitment are improving, the qualitative outcome like fairness, efficiency, responsiveness are not keeping pace. India Justice Reports Chief Editor Maja Baruwala said, reform is not optional, it is urgent. Punjab's performance in the 2025 ICR shows how easily selective progress can be mistaken for systematic reform. The widening gap between capacity and performance, between intent and execution, threatens the foundational promise of justice for Punjab to climb further in the rankings and, more importantly, deliver real justice to its people. It must shift its focus from cosmetic upgrades to deep-rooted, transparent, and accountable reforms, suiting its police, judiciary, and prison system. Punjab gears up for grand commemoration of Guru Tegh Bahadur's 315th Martyrdom Day. News from Chandigarh. In a significant move to honor the unparalleled sacrifice of Guru Tegh Bahadur, Punjab government has constituted a high-level group of ministers led by Chief Minister Bhagat Khan to oversee the elaborate commemorative events marking the 35th 305th Martyrdom Anniversary of the Ninth Sikh Guru. Man chairing a meeting at his official residence on Wednesday emphasized the historic and spiritual importance of the occasion. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's martyrdom is a shining symbol of resistance against tyranny, the timeless stand for religious freedom and human rights. He said, our government is committed to commemorate this momentous event with the dignity and devotion it deserves in adding. The ZOM will include ministers from key departments, tourism and cultural affairs, Punjab works on higher education and information, public relations to ensure seamless coordination of statewide activities, and executive committee headed by the chief secretary will supervise daily preparations and execution of the commemorative programs. The comprehensive roadmap has been charted out with cultural and educational events such as seminars, kirtan, darbars, light and sound shows, and publications planned to honor the legacy of Guru Tegh Bahadur. Special talks will be based on 63 historical sites across Punjab, including in Roopnagar, Amritsar, Patiala, Bathinda, and Shri Anandpur side. That being the footprints of the Guru, these sacred locations will undergo major infrastructure upgrades to reflect their spiritual and historical significance. Additionally, the state government has asked the center to support several key initiatives, the establishment of a convention center in Mohali, medical college and hospital at Anandpur side, and a degree college at Baba Nath Guru Sahib's name. Alongside the release of a commemorative postal stamp, through these efforts we aim to perpetuate Guru Tegh Bahadurji's immortal legacy as the first global proponent of human rights, said Man. Aurora launches carrying attack on Bajwa Collateral and its challenges in open debate. Haryana government moving towards making legislative processes more modern, inclusive and accessible. CM says from Chandigarh. Haryana Chief Minister Darshan Saini on Wednesday said that the state government has consistently worked to ensure that policy and law-making processes are inclusive and robust. He emphasized that while drafting legislation, it is essential to consider not only the language of the law, but also the emotions, needs, and aspirations of society. A well-crafted legislative draft should not only address existing issues but also guide society towards progress. Therefore, clarity, equality, and active citizen participation must be given special importance in the legislative process. And added, the Chief Minister said that through governance, the state has introduced greater transparency in governance and made significant strides in sectors such as education, healthcare, and women's empowerment. We are now steadily moving towards making the legislative process more modern, inclusive, and accessible. He added, saying that these remarks while addressing the participants of the sixth international training program in legislative drafting being organized at the Haryana Vidhan Sabha from April 16 to April 21. Training The training program is being held in collaboration with the Parliamentary Research and Training Institute for Democracies of the Lok Sabha Secretary. A total of 28 participants from 13 countries are taking part in this initiative. Haryana Speaker Harvinder Kalyan was also present on the occasion. Participants of the training program were honored with medals, world's largest democracy, takes great pride in the legislative system, which has consistently set benchmarks in social justice, integrity, inclusivity, and transparency. Legislative drafting is not merely a technical exercise, it is a visionary process that embodies the spirit of social transformation, upholds constitutional values, and reflects the inspiration from the people we said. The motto of our legislative drafting and research institute is Prarupan Jnanam Abhyas Shobhate. That is, continuous practice and knowledge is necessary for correct drafting. Today's training program is also based on this concept. We said that the state Vidhan Sabha has consistently taken the lead in advancing this vision. We have implemented various technological and structural reforms aimed at fostering a more transparent and accountable legislative system. Significant strides have been made towards establishing a digital legislature in Haryana. These initiatives have not only enhanced the efficiency of our legislators but have also made access to legislative information more convenient and accessible for the general public. And while referring to the international training program in legislative drafting, the Chief Minister said that this training program is not merely a formal exercise, it represents a significant step towards fostering mutual understanding, facilitating the exchange of knowledge, and promoting legislative transparency among nations. This platform serves as a valuable medium for sharing experience, gaining insights into each other's legislative frameworks, by collectively working towards strengthening our democratic institutions today as participants from various countries have come together. It stands a testament to global cooperation and partnership. Such events further strengthen India's timeless philosophy of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The word is one family, asserted the Chief Minister. Standing said that the objective of this training program is also to equip the participants with their intricacies, producers, constitutional framework, and practical examples of legislative drafting. We express confidence that the knowledge and experience shared in this program will contribute to strengthening the legislative processes in their respective countries. The Chief Minister remarked that the weight of the participants was not merely a formal engagement, but the beginning of a lasting friendship. On behalf of the people of Haryana, he assured them that the doors of the state would always remain open to them when they return to your countries. May you carry with you cherished memories of India and Haryana. Haryana's rich culture, warm hospitality, enduring friendships, and meaningful experiences he had. Speaking on this occasion, the speaker said that it is a matter of delight that pride under the guidance of Speaker Lok Sabha has been conducting capacity building programs since 1985. In a series of such training initiatives, the sixth international training program in legislative drafting with the aim to enhance legislative drafting skills, a foremost requirement in the legislative process. The valuable experience gained by them will add efficiency and vigor to their areas of work. I call Counsellor to Vajra Stage RST 22. Presently Ayurveda, 5 others enter insurance sector after CCI approval. The Competition Commission of India has cleared a proposal of urgently arbitrate and five other entities to acquire a majority stake in Magma General Insurance. The proposed combination is being notified under the Green Channel Rule in conjunction with Section 64 of the Competition Act 22 CCI said in a notice under the Green Channel Rule, a transaction which does not cause any risk of an appreciable adverse effect on competition is needing to be approved or being intimated to the competition watchdog. US FDA pulls up Aspen Biopharma Labs. The US FDA inspected the Rangaredi-based facility in September 2024. The warning data summarizes deviations from good manufacturing practices for active pharmaceutical ingredients. Well-being conference marks new era in healthcare innovation and integration. News from Bangalore Global Well-being Conference 2025, GWC 2025, an addition initiative by Ayush TV has emerged as a landmark event in the Indian healthcare sector, redefining holistic well-being and integrated medicine held from 2011 to 14. This 4-day mega conclave witnessed an overwhelming participation and set new benchmarks in Ayush, Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy healthcare revolution. Gensol promoters use firm like piggy bank for personal use, said Self-Loader. News of New Delhi. Gensol Intelligence promoters treated the district company as a proprietor firm, diverting corporate funds to buy a high-end apartment in the Canaries, DLF, Gurgaon, surplusing on a luxury wholesale, paying off credit cards and transferring money to close relative Savvy minutes interim order. And the case of Savvy's findings is an alarming fact of fund diversion by Gensol's promoters Anmol Singh Jaggi and Puneet Singh Jaggi, pointing to governance failure within the company. UK court legally defines a woman. News from London. The Supreme Court ruled Wednesday that UK equalities law defines a woman as someone born biologically male. Justice Patrick Hodson for religious and the court had ruled anonymously that develops women and section the Equality Act refers to a biological woman and biological sex. The ruling means that a transgender person with a certificate that neither them and female should not be considered a woman for equality purposes, but the court added that its ruling does not remove protection from trans people who are protected from discrimination on the ground of gender reassignment. The case stems from a 2018 law passed by the Scottish Parliament stating that there should be a 50% female representation on the boards of Scottish public bodies. That law included transgender women in its definition of women. For women, Scotland and women's rights groups have challenged that law, arguing that its redefinition of women went beyond Parliament's powers, but Scottish officials then issued new guidance stating that the definition of woman included some bit of gender recognition certificate FWS successfully sought to overturn that. The group had said the outcome of the case could have consequences in Scotland, England, and Wales for sex-based rights as well as single-sex facilities such as toilets, hospitals, bars, and prisons. Not trying the definition of sex to its ordinary meaning means that public boards could conceivably comprise of 50% men and 50% men with certificates, but still lawfully meet the targets for female representation. The group's director, Terina Budge, said previously. The challenge was rejected by a court in 2022, but the group was granted permission last year to take its case to the Supreme Court. Alan O'Neill, a lawyer for WS, told the Supreme Court three men and two women that under the Equality Act, sex should refer to biological section as understood in ordinary everyday language. Our position is your sex, whether you are a man or a woman or a girl or a boy, is determined from conception in utero. Even before one was by one's body, he said, it is an expression of one's bodily need. It is an immutable biological state. The women's right group quoted among its supporters author J.K. Rowling, who reportedly donated tens of thousands of pounds to beg its work. The Harry Potter writer has been vocal in arguing that the rights for trans women should not come at the expense of those who are born biologically female. Opponents, including Amnesty International, said excluding transgender people from sex determination protection conflicted with human rights laws. Amnesty submitted a brief in court saying it was concerned about the deterioration of the rights for trans people in the UK and abroad. The blanket policy of banning trans women from single sexual relations is not a proportionate means to achieve legitimate aim the human rights group shared. New White House policy for success to violent services from Washington, fresh from courtroom doors from the Associated Press, access to the presidency. The White House on Tuesday put forward a new media policy that sharply curtails access to the Trump by news agencies that serve media outlets around the world. It was the latest attempt by the new administration to control converse at its activities. The move would allow the AP and other wild assumptions that serve millions of years to thousands of news outlets. It comes after the judge ruled the White House had violated the organization speech by banning it because it disagreed with the outlets' decision not to rename the Gulf of Mexico right now in a new call coverage policy for small spaces like the Oval Office and Air Force One. The White House also shared it will ultimately give next world press secretary Caroline Leavitt the final say or who gets to question her words according to people who have seen the plan. The world expands the scope in U.S. administration, President of India, Washington. The Trump administration has expanded the power of advisor Elon Musk's governance team over the State Department, making Musk the Lieutenant Acting Head of Foreign Assistant. A senior U.S. official confirmed the news for Jeremy Levin, an associate of help finish dismantling the US Agency for International Development. The official was not authorized to comment publicly on a personal matter and spoke on condition of anonymity. Canadian Varsity 1 teachers of US travel. This warning is particularly targeted to academics who identify as transgender or whose research could be seen as being at odds with the position of the current US administration. The association that represents academic staff at Canadian universities is warning its members against non-essential travel to the United States. The Canadian Association of University Teachers released updated travel advance exclusive due to the political landscape created by President Donald Trump's administration and reports from Canadians encountering difficulties crossing the border. The association says academics who are from countries that have tense diplomatic relations with the United States or who have themselves expressed negative views about the Trump administration should be particularly cautious about US travel. Federal court blocks Trump from targeting law firm from Washington. Federal judge on Tuesday placed on hold much of Donald Trump's order forbidding the federal government from doing business with anyone who hires the law firm Sushman Godfrey, making it the first time a judge has found the president's targeting of law firms is likely unconstitutional. Will pay money, plan tickets to self-deportation. That's first of India, Washington. US President Donald Trump said he wants to give money airplane ticket to any immigrant who is in the country illegally, who chooses to self-deport and walk to back doors, who are good back up, who are good back in the US. A break from his usual hard-line immigration reality. Trump, who campaigned for a pledge to carry out mass deportation, said in a tapped interview with Fox notices that AR say that his administration is focused right now on getting murders out of the country. But for others in the US illegally, he said he is going to implement a self-deportation program. Trump offered few details about the plan, including timing, but said the US would provide immigrants airfare and a stipend. We are going to give them a stipend. We are going to give them some money and a plane ticket, and then we are going to work with them. If they are good, if we want them back, we are going to work with them to get them back. And in as quickly as we can, Trump said, Fox interviewer, Rashid Yanpan Buffet, who is married to Transportation Secretary Shinde Fay. US President Donald Trump at the White House on Tuesday played Trump a clip of a Mexican man who she shared arrived in US illegally more than 20 years ago and had children who were American citizens. It is not clear if the man now has legal permission to be in the country. But campus rubbish the man said that even though he cannot vote, he would have supported Trump. She played a clip of the man saying he agreed that if someone commits a crime, they should be returned to their countries, including himself. Now the farms are called for today during visit to Odisha. Meanwhile, residents of Sami were still mourning their loved ones killed in Sunday's attack. Among the dead was Alina Kohut, pianist and a solo organist at the regional philanthropic jazz laws U.S. Labor Department from enforcing anti-DEI rules, West Coast of India, Chicago. Federal judge on Tuesday issued a preliminary injunction that prevents the U.S. Department of Labor from requiring governments, contractors, and land recipients to certify they do not operate any diversity, equity, and inclusion stories that are followed of anti-discrimination laws until further order from the court. Judge Matthew Kennedy of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois issued the ruling in response to a lawsuit filed by Chicago Women in Trades, a non-profit dedicated to training and retraining women in skilled construction trades. Monkey Bath, Spark and Ayurvedic revival, from inspiring real-life recoveries to spearheading global initiatives. India Modi's consistent advocacy has not only brought Ayurveda back into the spotlight but has also redefined how India and the world pursue holistic health. In recent years, Ayurveda, India's age-old system of holistic health, has witnessed a resurgence both within the country and globally. While much of this can be attributed to increased awareness and scientific validation, a significant driving force behind this revival is traditional bodies consistent advocacy to its monthly video programs Man Ki Baat, launched in 2014. Man Ki Baat has become more than just a platform for public outreach. It has evolved into a powerful medium to promote India's cultural, health, and spiritual heritage. Among its many messages, one of the most prominent has been the promotion of Ayurveda and holistic health care. Ayurveda is central theme in Man Ki Baat. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi has consistently stressed the importance of Ayurveda not just as a treatment model, but as a way of life that emphasizing prevention, balance, and wellness. He has spoken about the global interest in Ayurvedic practices and products, especially during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, when immunity and preventive care took center stage. In the 87th and 91st episodes of Man Ki Baat, PM Modi especially highlighted the growing interest in holistic healthcare and Ayurveda. So, in India's COVID-19 response, he emphasized how Ayush practices rooted in an ancient Indian medicine helped millions build resistance during the pandemic and gained international recognition. Real life stories that inspire Man Ki Baat has also become a platform for sharing remarkable real life stories that underscore Ayurveda's transformative power. One such moment example is the story of Rosemary Odinga, daughter of former Kenya Prime Minister Odinga, suffering from loss of eyesight after brain tumor surgery. Rosemary underwent treatment in various cycles of work without success. However, she experienced a remarkable recovery through Ayurvedic treatment at Shri Hari Shri Haryam in Kerala. PM Modi spoke emotionally about this in his broadcast, highlighting Ayurveda's potential as a global healing system. Another example featured in Man Ki Baat was the Manav Mandir in Himachal Pradesh, which treats muscular dystrophy using traditional Indian practices. Such stories are to educate, inspire, and instilled pride in the efficacy of India's ancient healthcare system. A broader healthcare vision, while Ayurveda remained a focal point, Man Ki Baat has also reflected PM Modi's broader vision of healthcare as uh, national priority. The radio program has covered initiatives such as Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat, Jan Aushadhi, and Ayushman Bharat. These initiatives underline the government's commitment to making healthcare not only accessible but also affordable for all Indians. The Prime Minister has stressed the role of preventive care, traditional wellness practices, and mental well-being. The World Health Organization has even recognized its contribution to addressing mental health issues through Man Ki Baat by speaking about topics such as depression and emotional well-being, mental health, and encourage people to seek support. Policy intervention, promoting support for Ayurveda residents working beyond its species. Under his leadership, the Ministry of Ayush has been promoting Ayurveda as a global health system. One of the most significant moves was the organization of the Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit, which attracted investment proposal of nearly 10,000 crore rupees, reflecting the growing trust in the Ayurvedic ecosystem. Pursuing the vision, the government has emphasized integration between Ayurveda and modern medicine. On Ayurveda Day last year, the Prime Minister inaugurated multiple health projects aimed at promoting research and innovation in traditional medicine. These include the establishment of new research center, the deployment of novel guidance, and the scientific validation of traditional herbs. The government is also investing in improving the quality and scale of Ayurvedic education and research from opening new institutions to upgrade existing infrastructure. These efforts aim to create a new generation of practitioners who are equally versed in traditional knowledge and modern society practices. Ayurveda and women's well-being. Ayurveda's strength lies in its holistic and natural approach to healing, balancing the body, mind, and spirit. It treats root causes, not just symptoms, using herbs, diet, and lifestyle adjustment. Importantly, Ayurvedic remedies are known for their minimal side effects, making them a sustainable and gentle alternative for long-term well-being. Ayurveda has long offered effective solutions to a wide range of women health issues from managing menstrual discomfort and hormonal imbalances to enhancing fertility, skin health, and postpartum recovery. Herbs like Namsapati, Sitsalis, Kitchener, Ashoka, Sataru, Lodha, and Kumari Amavira are renowned for their benefits in addressing PCOS, irregular periods, menopausal symptoms, and reproductive health concerns. With increasing awareness and accessibility, several Ayurvedic brands today are tailoring products specifically for women's well-being. These include easy-to-use formulation for intimate hygiene, sexual well-being, pregnancy care, and skin health. Through the e-commerce model, many of these brands are making authentic Ayurvedic solutions available at the click of a button, delivering trusted care from ancient science right to people's doorsteps. These women-centric Ayurvedic wellness brands are also making it simpler to integrate Ayurveda into modern routine, whether it's herbal supplements, period pain relief solutions, or skin or acne care brands. Today's products combine traditional wisdom with convenience, supporting women through every stage of life, creating global awareness. Prevention and Modi's commitment to Ayurveda has not gone unnoticed globally. These efforts have led to increased international awareness and acceptance of Ayurveda by consistently highlighting Ayurveda's benefits on platforms like the United Nations and during bilateral meetings. The Mission has positioned it as a universal health solution. The Ministry of Ayush has capitalized on this momentum by signing MOUs with various countries, setting up Ayush information centers abroad and conducting international seminars. These actions have strengthened Ayurveda's global footprint and created opportunities for exports, research collaboration, and educational exchanges. This media outreach, Man Ki Baat itself has played a vital role in expanding Ayurveda's reach. Broadcast in multiple languages and widely shared across social media platforms, the program brings traditional knowledge into contemporary households. It speaks not only to urban listeners but also reaches rural populations, encouraging them to explore affordable, locally available health solutions. The show's storytelling approach combined with the Prime Minister's endorsement makes the message more relatable and trustworthy. And the country's sport leader shares stories of sports recovery and well-being rooted in Ayurveda. It helps break down skepticism and build team acceptance and building healthy lifestyles. Prime Modi has consistently used Man Ki Baat to encourage people to take responsibility for their health. He speaks about the importance of yoga, clean eating, exercise, and natural remedies, all of which are aligned with Ayurveda principles. These lifestyle choices and practices regularly can prevent chronic illness and reduce the burden on the healthcare system. Through this platform, citizens have been inspired to adopt Ayurvedic habits such as drinking turmeric milk and using tulsi and giloy. These small but effective changes in daily routine signify a return to traditional roots. The future of Ayurveda, as Man Ki Baat completes over 120 episodes, is serving transforming public perception of Ayurveda, stand a testament to the power of consistent advocacy. Prime Modi's efforts have laid the foundation for a healthcare system that values both tradition and innovation. The Modi effect has been instrumental in reviving and mainstreaming Ayurveda in India. Through Man Ki Baat, Prime Modi has connected the past with the future, reminding citizens of the wisdom rooted Indian traditions while paving the way for a healthier tomorrow. The journey of Ayurveda from ancient manuscripts to modern hospitals is being written out fresh and a voice narrating it belongs to the national highest office. As Ayurveda continues to evolve and adapt, its future looks promising, empowering millions, especially women with accessible, effective, and time-tested wellness solution. Challenges of postpartum family planning and care, ensuring family accessible to contraceptive counseling and services after childbirth is not only a matter of maternal and child health, it is a matter of empowerment, autonomy, and dignity for women across the country. Man Sarovar Yatra to break the ice. Resuming of the Yatra would be a step forward diplomatic talk between India and China. BJP, AIPAD, alliance reboots, though the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections are still a year away. The renewed alliance between the BJP and AIPAD marks a political strategy pivot in the British political landscape, finding God consciousness in a distracted world. Thank you, all my dear friends, brothers and sisters, those who are listening carefully. May God bless all of us with the power of words of our holy spiritual man. Our understanding a weapon of courage against intimidation. I would like to wholeheartedly appreciate the courage courage and boldness shown by Howard University's current president Alan Gaber, who chose not to intimidate by Donald Trump. However, refused to bow down to the Trump administration, says to cut federal funding amount until they clear that the university will not give up its independence, nor will it renounce its nor will renounce its constitutional rights. However, the America's oldest university established in 1636, even before the country's independence, has produced not one but eight U.S. presidents, including John Adams, Theodore Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. Trump seems to expect every intellectual, scientist, and entrepreneur in America to act as his obedient servant. But should such dictatorial thinking have any place in a democracy? Can the freedom of thought and expressing on campus be strangled with supporting Palestinian synonyms with supporting Hamas? Thus condemning Israeli actions amounts to be anti-Jewish. How can the world's most powerful democracy function under such a nationalistic agenda? Trump likely assumed that since Columbia University yielded to severe pressure, he could also bring Howard to its knees. But Howard stood firm, making proud of those Americans who have defended freedom across the globe and have overthrew dictatorships and military regimes. It is now imperative that other educational institutions, NGOs, intellectual industrialists, and human rights organizations unite and take a stand against these excesses by Trump and Elon Musk. As the saying goes, he who fears dictatorship is already dead. Jan Bahadur Singh Jan Shetpur. Thank you, all my brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, trainers, teachers, professors, professionals, ministers, managers, doctors, directors, all dear friends, watchers, readers, speakers, writers. I heartily, cordially welcome. Thank you. Nice to see all of you. Have a nice day.